All right, let's talk about Drake Maye and the New England Patriots ultimately having a very good performance against this admittedly Carolina defense that's really struggling outside of when they're playing Atlanta this season. I'm going to get into my one negative, like literally one negative play I saw just because like I try to talk about everything. It was a zone coverage concept. You have a receiver who's going to be trying to go more over the middle here, trying to get into a gap in coverage here. Maye takes the snap, and on a 3rd down and 4, realistically, this is probably not one he needed to throw. You totally get why he wanted to, because it was, it was how the play was designed. It didn't get ultimately as open as he was hoping for. Ultimately, probably you would have liked to see him maybe look for something else at this point. Instead, he makes the throw. It gets batted up, had a chance at being picked. It wouldn't have been a turnover-worthy play even if it was intercepted, but it was a play that, worst-case scenario, could have resulted in a turnover. So yeah, like let's bench him and, get rid of him. I guess he sucks now, right? No. Obviously, one negative in a sea of positives. Want to talk about that, get it out of the way. Let's get to the positives. First, he's a really athletic quarterback, and you do see it, especially on like something like this, which is a designed rollout. You're going to fake the handoff to the offense's right, go to the offense's left. Watch as Maye, does fake the handoff, gets up to this spot, and live, you're like, I don't know if he can really get in, at least not rush in. Maybe you could do the old, the thing Patrick Mahomes always does, if starts to run, defender leaves their man, and then you throw it type of play. But no, Drake Maye just steps forward and he picks up the first down, right? Or picks up the touchdown, right here. Really good play by him. And again, getting him in, out into open space, you can use his legs as a weapon. It essentially gives you an extra player, right? It gives you another, receiver, a check down type of situation if you have this, because it's just one other player the defense has to worry about, which just adds value. Heading over here, so we definitely saw some, I think, it's a reasonable take to say after this game, Drake Maye played very well, but also given the situation, it would have been he would have had to work to not play well in this game. Again, the Panthers defense just is what it is, which, hey, the Patriots offense was kind of a mess last year, so seeing that they can at least do this to a bad defense is still a step in the right direction, right? Similar to what we talked about last week when the Bears were able to beat up on the Cowboys. It's like it's still a step in the right direction. But you see on this play, so it's going to be the, Panthers I'll give them credit. They try a lot of different stuff, seeing if they can make something stick in coverage. They're doing what they can to try and cover. Here, they're going to try man coverage, which, let's see how it works. You have Stephon Diggs running a route, deeper route over the middle, but, Diggs has not necessarily been what they were hoping they were getting when they went out and signed him, right? Not that he's been a complete mess, but so far he had 57 yards week 1, 32 week 2, 23 week 3, but now he had over 100, and this is a play that was helped him do that. Watch as when this play begins, he's going to run a really nice route, gets the inside leverage, and just really runs by the corner he's going up against on this play. It's Mike Jackson who is the one who's, trying to cover Diggs and not doing a great job. So, okay, again, bit of a favorable matchup right here for Diggs, but still, you gotta win those favorable matchups. Beautiful throw here from Maye. Nice catch from Diggs. Get a splash play. And that's another thing that, listen, I feel like last year, even when the Patriots, the Patriots offense looked okay, the splash plays were, you would see it from time to time because Maye can throw down the field very well, but they weren't consistently enough. You were seeing more of those in this game. This play, another one, and really a bad one by the Panthers defense. It's a 3rd and 15, so okay, it's 28-6, but you should at least be able to get a stop here, you're thinking, if you're a Panthers fan who is delusional enough to think that you still have a chance to win this game. Drake Maye is going to take the snap. You see Diggs is going to run a nice route to get himself open, but also, listen, there were setup routes to cause this to be a gap in coverage for sure, but why do you have two defenders completely crashing down at the line of scrimmage and leaving Diggs completely open past the first down marker? This is not good defense. It's not smart defense. Credit to the Patriots for trying, right? A lot of teams on 3rd and 15 just say, let's run the ball, but the Patriots said, against this defense, let's throw the ball. Let's throw the ball down the field. Maye makes the throw. They're able to get a big completion there. So, again, it was a lot of simple stuff. He only threw 17 times. He showed some nice things. And there was a couple of, difficult plays. It wasn't all simple stuff. Yes, there was plenty of simple stuff, but it wasn't all that way. This one may be his most impressive throw of the game, the tightest window throw of the game for him. So it's going to be zone coverage. And you see these two routes. Essentially, the first player who is going to be going more over the middle is running a setup route, trying to draw the linebacker further over the middle. Then hopefully there's a little bit of a window if that linebacker cleared out where the second route can get open. Watch, Maye takes the snap, and you see that's kind of what has ended up happening. Hunter Henry is now the player who is open. But honestly, this is not bad defense by the linebacker over the middle here for Carolina. That's Trayvon Wallace, who is in position, doing a fine job of, the setup route's just inherently going to move him a little bit over the middle, but like making this a tight window throw. But what I like about this from Maye is if you see the ball's already out of his hands. Watch as he gets it there in a hurry, beats Wallace to the spot. Henry is able to fight, and do some nice work there after the catch as well. But it's just a great throw from Maye on that play. So again, it wasn't super highlight reely throughout, but like when you needed a tough throw, he was able to give you one. You just didn't need it too often. And then also heading over here, so this is an interesting play as well. So first, the number one thing you'll notice is all those players lined up at the line of scrimmage. It's a 3rd down and 5. They're selling as though there's pressure. Okay, 3rd and 5. This is the play you got to get a stop on. So the Panthers, you see, they drop back into coverage, right? So they're not fully setting the house. There still is some pressure, but those two players over the middle are dropping back, and now they have to move to get in position, right? Which means that despite the fact that, in theory, they would be over the middle and could see if Drake Maye wants to run and step up and make a tackle, in this situation, they can't really do that because they're having to get back in position. Maye is going to see this, and he's going to take advantage. Watch him step up in the pocket. There was a room for him to run, and he's able to dive forward, pick up the first down. There was a holding penalty on this play. This set up that 3rd and 15 conversion I talked about earlier. So ultimately, still a good play from Drake Maye. We're evaluating his play. You can evaluate his play even on plays that didn't actually count on the stat sheets. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I thought he played very well in this game. Again, he threw 17 times against one of the worst defenses in the league, if not the worst defense in the league. You can only take away so much from this game. But I do think these kind of games can be real confidence builders, and if you can get something like this going, you can start to feel better about yourself. Well, these are steps in the right direction. So they play the Bills, who actually don't have the best defense, even if their offense is obviously amazing on Sunday Night Football. And then you get the Saints and the Titans and the Browns. The Falcons have been up and down. You have the Buccaneers, but then you have the Jets, the Bengals, the Giants. I mean, their schedule is not that difficult. They get the Jets again and the Dolphins again. So the luxury of a last place schedule and being in not a great division is like, if they can start racking up some wins, it's not crazy to think that they'll be in the hunt in a couple months from now once those graphics start popping up. So we'll see what they do. Big test against the Bills, but those are my thoughts against Drake. My thoughts on Drake Maye and the New England Patriots. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.